A lawyer for Ginni Thomas, who of course is the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, is throwing cold water on the prospect of a voluntary interview with the House Select Committee. In an 8-page letter her attorney sent the panel, he expresses serious concerns about any interview congressional investigators would conduct with her. The attorney notes this has been a, quote, particularly stressful time as the Thomases have been subjected to an avalanche of death threats and other abuse by the unprecedented assault on the conservative Supreme Court justices and their families. The lawyer goes on to write this. As she has already indicated, Mrs. Thomas is eager to clear her name and is willing to appear before the committee to do so. However, based on my understanding of the communications that spurred the committee's request, I do not understand the need to speak with Mrs. Thomas. Talking about the text exchanges between Ginni Thomas in November and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Jackie Alamany, I'll just read one from November 10th. Quote, Ginni Thomas, this is writing to Mark Meadows, help this great president stand firm, Mark. You are the leader with him, who is standing for America's constitutional governance at the precipice. The majority knows Biden and the left is attempting the greatest heist of our history. Those are the words in a text from Ginni Thomas. So, will the committee hear in some form from Mrs. Thomas?
Yeah, Willie, and it's not just those text messages that the committee has obtained from Ginni Thomas, but as we reported a few weeks ago, she also was emailing with John Eastman, the architect of the legal coup, who was working closely with the former president to try to implement this plan to overturn the results of the election by having the state legislatures create these phony slates of electors. And Ginni Thomas was actually involved directly with that plan. She was emailing state legislatures in Arizona, encouraging them to sign on to it, according to reporting from my colleague Emma Brown, who obtained some of those emails that Ginni was sending to state legislatures. And, you know, we have heard by all indications that the committee has much more that we have yet to uncover about her communications with John Eastman. But look, Ginni Thomas went from last week saying that she was looking forward and couldn't wait to speak with the committee to now her lawyer arguing that there's not enough of a legislative basis or an insufficient basis for her to come forward. So we'll see what ultimately happens. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, there are various threads to this investigation and the alternate slate of electors, the phony slate of electors that is now being investigated by the Department of Justice. It raises just as many questions about criminal conduct as some of these other revelations that we heard from Cassidy Hutchinson yesterday.
And Barbara McQuaid, how rich her representative complaining about a hostile political environment when it was Ginni Thomas who actually texted Mark Meadows telling him to stay strong and advocating like Jesus and God in overthrowing a peaceful presidential election. And it was Ginni Thomas who was asking Arizona legislators to subvert American democracy by sending an alternate slate of electors to the House of Representatives. And she can't testify because of a hostile political environment. I think if we compare the protests outside of the Supreme Court, the peaceful protests for the most part, with the mob attacks on January 6th, not really much of a comparison.
No, and of course, you know, it's not for the witness to decide whether it's appropriate or not, or why I don't see the need for you to obtain my testimony. There is historically case law that says the government is entitled to every man's evidence or every person's evidence. If they want it, if it is arguably relevant, then they're entitled to get it. And as Jackie said, she is all over this in terms of being a fact witness with her communications with Mark Meadows and John Eastman. And I know she wants to have a separate identity from her husband, which she's entitled to, and she is being examined solely for her own conduct and not because of that. But I'll also point out that there is the possibility that one of the reasons they gave her the time of day is because she did have the clout of being married to a Supreme Court justice. Because remember, one thread of this plot was to file a lawsuit directly in the Supreme Court to declare himself the winner. And so to the extent they're utilizing that avenue, it becomes even more important to understand what her role was here.
Wow.
you.